Hey guys, I am sitting on the patio today. I've been indoors all day and I thought maybe I could try this just to see if the audio is not too crazy and if there's anyone showing up to ask some questions. If, we don't have a lot of people, I'll just sign off. Oh, I see two people. That's great. Also, let me know if the audio is okay. I just wanted to sit out and get a little bit more fresh air. I'm on the patio today, so let me know how it goes, how I sound. I don't have, I didn't have to put any sunglasses on, but we want to just check in and see if you have any questions. I like to keep my word. If I say I'm going to do it, hola, Deborah. How are you? Buenas. Oh, DK. Hola. How's the audio, guys? Is it really bad? Last time I recorded a video over here and they said the audio was really bad. But I'm just sitting out here. Hola, Auntie. How are you? You back? Nice to see you. Today is one of those rare days where it's not really, really hot. So I'm able to sit on the patio, but it's good. Yay! Because sometimes you might hear some noise, like what we call the Diablo Rojo, which is the old school buses, and they've kind of decked them out. They have all kind of art on the body, and then inside is bare, regular old type cushion seats, like school buses, no air conditioning. No air conditioning, and then they usually have, oh, you're driving, okay, and they usually have the music really loud. And those buses, you come into Panama on the 22nd, DK, yeah, wonderful. So you got all your stuff done. That's great. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people are coming to Panama these days. Lots and lots of people. And you can see that when you go to a restaurant and you see how many expats you see, or, on the streets, on Balboa Avenue, at the mall. Panama has this thing with the Copa airline that if people are making a stop to go onto the next leg of their trip, they can spend the day here in Panama. So you see a lot of people at the mall with their carry-on luggage, and they're just buying and going to the restaurant. So it's good for the economy because the young people are out of work, but they're hoping that the tourism industry is going to be continue to help. So they're trying to make Panama a destination, especially the city. So when you come on a cruise, let's say Panama is a stop on your cruise to, let's say, Latin America, they stop at Colon and then they bus them into the city. So when you go to, not Cinta Costera, when you go to, oh my gosh, Casco Viejo, then you see all of them, they drop them there and then they go eat and walk. In Casco Viejo, if you come to Panama, you have to go to Casco, right? Because it's just so, it's an old city that's preserved part of it. You still have lots of old dilapidated building that I'm like, all you need is a few millionaires, spend some money, renovate the building, bring them back to their old glory, and then you could make them into Airbnbs. Now they have some apartments. When I started coming to Panama, they were like, "Oh, don't stay there; it's noisy," because they do have lots of bars and the music is popping till like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you don't really want that if you're not into, that lifestyle. But now some people are moving there. They're just getting apartments and yeah, because it's walkable, it's quaint. You have all kinds of restaurant there, and then you can walk to the Mercado de Marisco getting your fish. They have authentic Panamanian cuisine type restaurants in there, and all the forts and the old building, just beautiful. I love Casco. I love to go visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. But people are living there. They've renovated some buildings and turned them into apartments. You know, like the we call the PHs that are owned by people. So you can also buy a unit there and rent it out and have a management company. So if you bought an apartment in that area, it's probably a good investment. Probably because people love to go there and stay there for temp visa this time. Okay, okay, that's great. You know, it's funny this week. Somebody reached out to me and she said her name is Crystal, and I'm like, oh, hola. And then she wanted to have coffee, so I said, okay, come to the cafe next door to me. And when I got there, it was somebody I had known from my church back in Florida, and we had the best time. I'm telling you, the world is getting smaller. Yes, good for you, DK. Yeah, that's good. It's a good time to come to Florida. I mean, to Florida, to Panama. The rainy season is rainy though, because we've had rain almost every day. So if you don't mind that, you're good. I watched another local YouTuber talk about when the best time is to come to Panama, and people say come during the dry season, which is like December through like May. But I don't know. I love the rain. I don't like to be on a plane when it's storming, right? But I love the rain. Yesterday, I decided, oh my God, the traffic yesterday in the city was awful on my side. Um, I was looking for okra, and okra is not something you find here easily. The Panamanian stores don't carry it, but we do have some specialty stores like Foodie. If you go to Reba Smith, sometimes you can find them. And then I was there. Every time I go to the mall, there is a mall that's a little uppity. They have a store in there, and Reba Smith is the store that if you're looking for something that's from the US or from Europe, chances are you're going to find it there. They cater to expats and international residents, right? So, and sometimes when you go, if I go to the mall, I always stop at River Smith to see if I can find some. So most of the time I can't, but the other day I went this week and they had it, but they don't look so fresh. So I had one pack. And then a sister from our group said, I saw them at Foodie. So I was going to Foodie yesterday. So I took a bus. The bus didn't stop where I needed it to. So I had to do the overpass to cross because, when you have the busy streets, you don't take a chance and run across. You might get hit. So you have to use the overpass, on top. I don't know what you call them. And then people were standing in line. The traffic wasn't moving. I'm like, I'm taking a chance. I'm walking. So I'm walking down to where I was going. It wasn't that far, but there was no real sidewalks, and I was holding my long skirt, and oh my God, it was crazy. And then I had to cross some really busy road, but I made it, God. So I got to Foodie, which is one of the specialty stores, and I found two packs of okra. So Sunday I'm gonna have some okra. So when I do the live, I was like, what can I do with that okra, and put it in a dish that falls in line with our September cooking dishes, because September is fall is here. So whatever we do, it has to have a fall type of touch, whether it's in color or what. But last week I made that quinoa salad that was popping, with the squash. It was good. So, oh, I love okra. I don't fry anything, but I love fried okra. There was a steak place in Orlando where I live, and they made their signature dish was what do they call that? It's a steak they cook that is really soft and I forgot, but they made like nice biscuits. I always say, please don't put a biscuit in there. because then I'm gonna eat it. But I love the fried okra there. Yes, yes, yes. My lawyer said I don't have to bring anything that makes me nervous. What do you mean? Anything in terms of what? Umbrellas. Definitely you need umbrellas. Make sure you have nice walking shoes that have like a nice sole. Um, I mean, it's rainy season, but I recommend that you don't get out when it's pouring because some of the roads get washed out. And if you take an Uber, they might get stuck in traffic. Just wait till the rain subsides and then go. I don't recommend going on tours when it's really pouring, so make sure you watch the weather channel, I mean, the report to see what the temperature is going to be like, and the chances of rain because it does change. Umbrella, some people have the little plastic rainy coat. Um, it's always good to have like some kind of a hat to protect yourself from the sun or if it's raining. Some people have the plastic thing you put over your head, when it rains, if you get caught in it. If you're going on a tour, just like one of those plastic things you can put over your clothing, right? I remember when I was going to South Africa, one of the things that they recommended that we bring was like some rubber boots. You don't have to do that here. But make sure you have comfortable shoes for when you're walking or you're going on tours. And the thick sole is so that if you step on something in the city, lots of broken glass and stuff you could step in. So be careful you protect your feet. Okay. Oh, okra? Yeah, it's so good though. Oh, because you probably think it's slimy. See, I don't mind slimy because that's why when I buy okra, I don't buy the big ones. The big ones are usually tough, right? So you end up cooking it and overcooking it. So when you're getting okra, you need to get the baby ones, the soft one that cooks really fast. My best way of eating okra is to go get some beef bones or like an oxtail, and then you cook them. They taste good. Then you put the okra in, and they kind of absorb all that flavor. Really good, really good. Papers, photos, health report. Oh, he said not to bring those. Okay, because you probably sent them to him already, Deborah. You already sent those to your. If you sent them or email them, then they probably don't want them anymore. But just listen, follow the advice of your attorney. They know better. They're the experts, right? And always stay in contact with them. So rainy season, we haven't had much in terms of parties and stuff because we're waiting for, October. Some people do celebrate Halloween here. You go to some stores, they have all the decorations. They started playing Christmas music like 2 months ago. I think that's funny. I thought it was bad over there that we started playing Christmas even before Thanksgiving. Here it was even earlier. But when the party really starts in Panama is in November. November is Independence Month because Panama celebrates two Independence Days. Separation from Colombia because they used to be together and they decided to separate with the help of the Americans because they wanted the canal. So, America doesn't do anything without finding something for them in it. And then separation from Spain. So the whole month of November is La Patria, the what is a tradition, translation for La Patria. Our country. Like when we say our country, T's of D, here they're just so proud of their country, who they are, their history. So it's La Patria, La Patria. So all the ladies are wearing the polleras, and the hat, and they have the hair decoration. Sometimes when you see them, and then they put the hair in the middle, and they have the flowery things, the beads on the side. um, something typical of ladies have the embroidered shirts, right? And they can have some of the, I think I'm going to get one, the big flowery skirt. I like to wear long skirts anyway, but you can buy the fabric and have someone make it for you, which is much cheaper. Um, and then the guys also wear the long dresses with the pockets in the front that are also embroidered. And then, so that's something that is very typically Panamanian. And they even have the little kids wearing them. It's so much fun. And then when you get into the festivities, every little region of this country celebrates, and they have their own way of celebrating. The They have the tamborino, which is the thing that they carry, and then they drums. Even the little kids know how to do that. So it's party, 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 party. Casco Viejo is not too far from where I am, and I can see it from my balcony. And that's where the presidential palace is. So, there's always stuff going on there. And then you get into Christmas, right? December. December 8th is Mother's Day in Panama. We don't celebrate here in May. So thank you. Thank you. Yes, the 10 things. I think it's good for you guys to know these things, right? If you're thinking of relocating here, you have to understand the psyche of the country and how it might affect you and manage your expectations of what you're going to encounter here. So you're not, oh my God, I never saw that coming. You're going to have some surprises anyway, but try to minimize, right? So December 8th is Mother's Day here in Panama, and it's a national holiday. Lots of fiestas all the time, okay? Panamanians love to celebrate. And so you're gonna have fireworks and music playing. And there are some holidays here in Panama where they call them dry days. I think that's usually around the Holy Week. You're not allowed to buy alcohol. If you go into the store and they have the aisle where they have the wine and the booze, that aisle is going to have tape. It's going to be taped off. One of my students said it was so funny. She didn't know about the dry day. So she was looking for some wine and she got into the store and there was tape closing off the aisle. She said she ran underneath and grabbed a bottle of wine and she took it to the cash, the register, and they just grabbed it for her and put it away. You can buy it before that and have it at home, but you're not allowed to go to the store and buy alcohol. Isn't that interesting? Yep. And then you have Christmas, then you have New Year. And January, there's another holiday there. And then I think they have the Day of the Martyrs here. And then you get into Carnival. And Carnival is a whole week or two of celebration. So from November to like February, people's mind. So that's why you don't want to do heavy business during those months. You can still rent your apartment, but they're like in a fiesta mode. Yes, Panamanians love to celebrate. And of course, like American celebration means food, booze, music, la música. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, what's too early for you, Auntie Eva? Eva? Thank you for the last video. I enjoyed it. What I decided to do, I'm going to post 2 videos a week now. I'm going to do Monday, Thursday. My day used to be Wednesday. And sometimes, depending on what's happening, I'll be running late with it. And then this program says the best time for me to post my videos between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. So I'm going to shoot for that because people are coming from work and most of my viewers are in the US and Canada. So I'm going to do a video on Mondays. It's going to be educate. That means educating you about life here as an expat. So I take you through, when you get to the airport, how do you get into your, getting somebody to take you to your Airbnb. Then we talk about, how you, I'm going to talk about money on Monday, this Monday. And, credit cards and banking and all these financial things that you need to know how to do, right? How to get your first apartment. I'm going to do a checklist to tell you to, just like I did the move abroad checklist. It's going to say these are the kind of things you need to look for when you're looking for your apartment. Because let me tell you, some people have gotten in all kinds of trouble here. People, the more people come here, the higher the risk of scamming. And unfortunately, the scamming doesn't happen only with locals. You have expats scamming other expats, which is a sad thing. But instead of doing like a regular lease with a reputable company through a real estate agent, they'll hook up with somebody, say, you know, well, I have this thing here, let's just do something on this side. A lot of people are subletting their apartment. You may not be allowed to do that based on the agreement you had with the owner. Be careful. So, and then there are, things to look for in terms of the windows, checking for mold, the washer dryer, the floors, furniture. All these things are important, right? You want to make sure you do your due diligence. You know me, I love lists. You could hear the trucks, right? How to open your bank account, how to get your Metro card and how you write the Metro. So I'm going to take you through showing you step by step how to do that. I didn't have anybody showing me these. I had to figure it out on my own, and I did. I remember getting on these buses or the metros and missing my stop and going over and then returning. That's how you learn. You shouldn't be afraid of making a mistake or getting lost. That's why you do it during the daytime. You don't want to get lost late at night because you don't know where you are. I got lost here. I got into an area one year and I was walking and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? That doesn't look very good, Maggie. And then of course, the moment they see you, they know you're an expat, you're a gringo, even though I'm not white. But they'll say, oh, there's one. And I was getting some stares, I'm like, hola, buenas, I'm just being polite. And then one, I was walking, I'm like, oh my God, where am I? I was looking for this particular metro station. I could not find it. And this guy would say, oh, go over there. Well, you don't know the language, you're still new. And then I saw a policeman. I'm like, oh, excuse me, perdon. What about it? He's like, oh, you're way from where you're supposed to be. You have to go, oh. And then you hot, you sweating. That's another thing in your bag, DK Allen. You're gonna have. Listen, I told you I was robbed, right? So you coming to Panama, make sure you have a crossbody where you put your important stuff, or you can still use these. These work. Some people put money and stuff in their socks if the socks are tight, underneath their pants. And you don't like getting hot? Oh, lost. Okay. No, nobody likes that because you don't know where you're going to end up. So get your crossbody. If you don't have one, order one before you come to Panama. Don't have your cute little purse that you're just hanging over there. Sometimes they can cut them. Don't wear your backpack like I did. That's how they got my wallet from my back. If you have a backpack, put it in the front. And then you need another bag. I have like two other bags. And in that bag, in Panama, you want to have an umbrella. Of course, not a big one that you can fold about this long. You want an umbrella. You want a water bottle that is not plastic. You can get the ones, with the metal and then they can stay cool inside. You want hand sanitizers. You want wipes. You need a sweat rag because you're going to sweat. If you're going to go out in the middle of the day, make sure you have a hat, and the umbrella, sometimes you can use it if it's really, really hot. It keeps the sun away. The sun comes out in Panama around 6:30 in the morning, and it goes down about the same time every single day. So, vitamin D is important for us women, anybody, but especially for us, because we don't absorb calcium as much. And whatever calcium we absorb, a neck fan, yes, the neck fans are popular here, okay? But then if you sweat, you go down on the metro, you're on the bus, or you're walking, you're gonna sweat. So you need a sweat rag. You wanna bring sunscreen, and also on your face, your ears, your neck, your arms. Put some sunscreen. Mosquito repellent if you're gonna be out late in the evening. During the day, they don't bother you, but when it starts to get dark, they go for your ankle. So make sure you're wearing socks or pants, but spray your ankles, okay? Because we do have dengue here. What else do I have in my Oh, I have a fan, portable fan. Those, yeah, I have two of them, one in each bag. So whichever bag I grab, I'm ready to go. I just put the water in there and I'm going. Okay, tissues. I always do tissues. And now another thing I'm going to add are cough drops, just in case. Oh, and a mask. You need mask in your bag because if you're going to be riding the metro around rush hour, tight, tight, tight. You don't want somebody breathing on you. Put your mask on. If you're an anti-mask, that's your issue, not mine. Crossbody is very good, Auntie. That's good. Mosquitoes, repellent. Yes, you should always have some if you're going to go out at night. You want to go to the rooftops, you want to walk around, you want to have fun, always spray your legs. People, expats have tested positive for dengue, so be careful. And we've had some people die. Of course, in these diseases, depending on your body composition, whether you are immunosuppressed, you've had cancer, you old, you already immunosuppressed, right? You're more at risk. So you want to protect yourself. Get your flu shot. Okay, somebody will say, well, I didn't recommend it. Okay, we don't have to have an argument about that. You take it if you want, but spray your ankle and use sunscreen during the day. Yeah. So grocery store. Yeah, I have masks in my bag. All my bags have masks. Okay. Now the other day I was in the emergency room with a sister, and they have people outside selling these cheap masks you can buy for $1 or something, and then they put the mask on, and there was a big gap on both sides, and I'm like, that's not working. You want to get a nice mask that covers, okay? Otherwise, if all the stuff can go through there, you're not doing anything. All right. And so, in terms of other topics that you need to know, how to open a bank account, how to use the subway, I'm going to take you to the grocery store so you know how to where the spots are to get your fruits and vegetables, because most of us don't buy those inside the food stores because you can get them cheaper. You can on the corner of where you live, they're gonna have someone with a stand where you can buy your pineapple, your papayas, your mangoes, your mandarin, your oranges, bananas. You buy those in the corner, so that's where you get those. And we do have some specialty stores where you're looking for things. Like bacon. I had to go to a particular store to get bacon because I was making a recipe. I don't eat bacon per se, but I was making quiche Lorraine, and you have to have bacon for that if I'm having a party or something. You enjoyed it. Good for you. I don't know. I think I've read only one person who said she came here and she said, well, I wasn't impressed. I'm like, okay, bye. Panama is not for everybody, right? If you come here with your nose up and your expectations are high, you're probably going to find some things you don't like. There are things I don't like either, but there's so much more that I like. So I can't. You know what I mean? And this was one of the things I talked about in my last video. It's like, don't expect paradise. It's a myth. You create your own paradise where you are. That's why you must have your list. You need to, if somebody were to talk about what are the five most important things that you need to look at if you're considering a country, right? Cost of living might be one, because if you've watched my videos, there is research that has been done showing that the three main, there are more reasons people from America and other places relocate to another country are, the three reasons are: they want a lower cost of living, they want a higher quality of life, a lot more things for them to do and enjoy, and they want more affordable health care. Another one we could say, because the affordable health care could be in the cost of living, but the third one is the presence of an expat community. Well, Panama, check, check, check. Although the health care is a bit tricky for older folks, and I hope by now I've talked about it long enough that you understand that if you're over 65, you have to work a little harder. And I did a consultation call with a really nice lady this week, and she's got everything situated, but the healthcare is struggling with it, right? How to secure her health care because she does not want to change her traditional Medicare. I'm like, well, it's going to be tricky. If you want to keep your Medicare, yes, you can always go back home if something happens. But what about an emergency that you don't have time to get on a plane to go to your regular doctor or hospital, right? If you don't have any coverage here, you got to flip that credit card. They will not treat you if you can't pay. If you have a credit card that you only have $1,000 limit on it, and they want to charge 1,500 and it gets declined, they're going to say, well, then you need to go to the public hospital where things are much cheaper, right? They'll arrange for an ambulance for you to go to the public hospital where it's very cheap, but you may have to wait in line because the rest of the population is sitting there waiting. You're not special. They're not going to put you in front of the line. Someone asked me, well, do they triage if you're having a heart attack or stroke? And I hope so. I hope so. But it's a different mm, type of healthcare that is delivered there. And I shouldn't say it like that. The physicians tend to be the same, but the processes are different in terms of how long you have to wait. And it depends on which local hospital you end up in. If you're in Panama City, you're going to end up at Santo Tomas. Santo Tomas means St. Thomas. That is the largest hospital in the country. And I was there. I was in the emergency room. It looked pretty decent, right? But if you go to some of the other public hospitals in the interior of the country, I cannot tell you anything about them. But there is one in one particular community, not too far from Panama City, that has been in the news recently about the care is like, somebody had like a appendectomy, and they were showing pictures of his dressing. I think there was a doctor there that was arrested for sexual violence. That happens anywhere in the US too, I know. So not all hospitals are created equal. And that's why if you're an older woman and you want to live in Colorado, you want to be, in the beach community, yeah, you can do that. They have a hospital there, a clinic hospital, that if you have something mild, and I think if you are having a heart attack or whatever, they'll take care of you there. But it's not open 24/7. Decisions. When you're older, your priorities change. The young people can live anywhere, right? They're surfing, they're on the beach. If you have an accident, then somebody has to put you in their car and drive you to the nearest clinic or hospital. So make sure you go when you make your choice of where you land, that you got your eyes open as to what the risks are. Okay. Um, so that's important to know. Making you hungry for fresh. Well, you coming in, you're going to enjoy it. The pineapple here is the sweetest I have tasted. Now, I was in Hawaii, and the pineapple there is pretty good, but Panama's pineapple are special. The papaya, pineapple, watermelon, bananas are galore. Even though with Chiquita Banana having left, and I hear they're coming back, thank God. So the jobs are coming back. So we have bananas, but now you can get three for $1, where before you could get six or eight. So there's been a change. You live in the UK, but I was born in the Caribbean. Oh, good. You love Don Bosco. I spent a week there. I also spent a week in the middle of the financial district. Yeah, wonderful. I think it's great for people to just go to different parts of the country and see. They each have their own little flair, seriously, especially around the holidays. They celebrate differently. Yeah. I think most Americans work themselves until they die. Yeah, at least that's true in my family. Oh, I want time for myself and reading, gardening, and no supervisors. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. So other things to tell people, like if you want to deck your apartment with things, where to find. If you wanted to buy things for the kitchen versus if you wanted to buy things for the house. Some people want to know where the furniture stores are if they want to buy stuff, because most apartments here come furnished. It may not be 100% furnished, but usually they have a bed and a couch. So after that, you can deck it however you want. But I want to be minimalist and I want to be mobile. I want to be able to pack up and go. So I don't want to buy a bunch of things. Mm-mm. People having like 30, 40 plants to take care of. Mm-mm. That's too much responsibility. Plus, I have a black thumb, so that's not something I worry about. Oh, is it? Okay. I'm telling you. I mean, the pineapple is, I don't understand. You cut into it, it's juicy, it's sweet, it's special. The papaya is pretty good too. You can get three pineapples for $1 sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yep. I love the avocado here too. I have not buy a Haas, the little teeny one from Mexico. I haven't bought any of that here because the pineapple is so nice. You cut into it, they have like a long neck and it's buttery and it's I actually like them better than the one I used to get from Dominican Republic and other places. Yeah. The mango, not so much. They're not big on mangoes. But they have camote. Sweet potato is different here. It's not that nice orange looking. It's kind of white, so it's different. But if you go to Reba Smith, you may find what you used to in the states. Let's see, what else would you want to know as um, a newcomer? I always tell you to join the Facebook groups and go to their events page so you could see what's coming. Like for us, single women retiring abroad, every third Thursday we have our meetup. So this coming Thursday, we're going to have our meeting. We're going to be off when November, December, we're not meeting because I told you people are going to be in the fiesta mode, to celebrate. And then some of us are going back home to visit family, so we don't meet the last 2 months. Smoothies, yeah. We call them batidos. Batidos, and then you say what you want in it. Batido de piña, that means it's a pineapple smoothie. Yeah. And the funders, most of them will make smoothies. Lots of places for smoothies. Yep. And Panama, on the vegan places too. That's probably something I want to talk about. because uh, a lot of people are vegan, and we do have vegan places. I am in Panama City. Yes, I've been in Panama City. I have visited other parts of the country, and I decided I like being in the city better. There's a lot more to do. I'm not such a nature person. I don't like bugs. I don't like critters. So that wouldn't do good. I wouldn't do so well. Even though Panama's mountains, oh my goodness. But the moment I saw a snake, I'd be cured. Mm-mm. No. Iguanas, snakes, scorpions? No, 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 no. Mm-mm. No. You veganish? I'm more whole food plant based. And I started eating some chicken and other things recently because initially, when I first went whole food plant based, I was no meat, no dairy, nothing, nada. And something in my lab work was a little bit off. So I had to reintroduce some protein because you need protein as an older person because you don't want your bones to be sticking out. You want a little padding so that if you fall, you're not going to break something. But they do have multiple vegans restaurants here. Yeah, there's a cute one that is Jamaican vegan. What do they call it? But anyway, you go in there and he makes this wrap that is so good. And then gives you some sweet plantains with it. Oh yeah. Oh no, no. I started eating eggs. I boil eggs. Sometimes I cook them, and then I'll put some. I saute some spinach or Swiss chard. Or my easiest one is just some tomatoes on the side. I like that. If I'm hungry, yeah. Oh, you should have a canal tour. But that's kind of a day thing because they tell you if you go on the website for the canal, it gives you an approximate time when you can see the ships go through. So you make time to watch the movie, and then you sometimes you have to wait a little bit to see the ship go through the canal and see how the locks go up, the water level goes up, and they go way down and go back up again. It's really interesting. Um, and then because you're going to be standing in line, um, and I always say maybe during the week it's less crowded, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But the best way to see the canal, I think, is at Agua-Clara, which is outside of Cologne, which is beautiful. But you can hire a driver to take you to Cologne and do it. But the Miraflores is the most common one here in the city. My daughter was here the other day, and I had to go back with her and watch the whole movie again and watch the ships go through. If you come for your residency, that's a 1 day thing. The rest of the day, you got time for tours. Oh, 4 days? Okay. You go for your call in 1 day, so you have 3 days left. Just make sure you go to the website for the canal in Panama City, and then pick a day. I my daughter. For me, as a local, when I show my ID, it was like $3, I guess. But for her, it was like 20 something. So if you're a visitor, you pay more to go see the canal. But it's so worth it, right? It's worth it. Let's see, what else would somebody want to know when you first get here? Mini supers or like mini bodegas where they're like convenience stores where you could buy anything. So when you move or when you get into your Airbnb, you want to find out where the next mini super is because that's where you're going to get your water, you get some fruit, you get a little bit of everything there. You get snacks, batteries, things for, shampoo, because most Airbnbs will have a washer dryer, something a stackable one. And sometimes you're looking for detergent, you're gonna find all those in a little mini super. Those are small convenience stores that usually are owned by Chinese families, and they're the one in there. You can find fresh coconut, fresh fruit. The one that I saw, well, that was like across from my building, she would take a papaya and cut it and then portion it and put them in like little bags. So you don't have to buy the whole papaya, but you can have a piece. They do that with watermelon. You can buy bananas, and they even have plantains and other things there and chips galore. And the Chinese here, because they're such a big part of the community, they sell the little dumplings that they have a name for it. I forgot, but they put it in like a cooler, not cooler, like a warmer. What do you used to call those? If you're doing like a casserole or whatever, and you plug it in, you call, and then they leave them there. And the locals, everybody, they say three for $1, so you can have that. Don't forget fondas. Fondas are small mom and pop restaurants where you can find food for cheap. Like lunch could be $4, right? And that's with rice, chicken, with some sides. Oh yeah. So you want to find out where those are, and then find your little corner where you can buy fresh fruits if you want to buy a whole whatever, versus going inside the mini super. Birthday 78. Wow. Deborah, that's amazing. We have our matriarch here who is 80. Yes. So age is but a number. It doesn't keep you from going somewhere. Just the healthcare. Make sure you get that one down pat. If you don't have Medicare Advantage, you're going to have some coverage. Or if you're independently wealthy and you can dip into your fund, have your debit card or credit card ready. A couple of times a month. Oh, boiled egg? No, I eat eggs more. I eat eggs more frequently now because now they're telling you the yolk is not that bad, so don't worry about your cholesterol. And I'm like, I wasn't worried about it either. Last time I went, I think mine was two something, and then the young PA, she's like, "Well, the guideline says we need to put you on Lipitor." I said, "You could save your script. I am not taking Lipitor." And then earlier this week, they're like, "Oh my God, it's killing your liver." I'm like, "Okay, I knew that." So now they're like, "Oh, you need cholesterol for all those reactions in your body. Cholesterol is not bad." Now, watch your triglyceride because that's what measures the level of fat in your blood. My triglyceride has been low. My LDL is always a bit elevated. That's a low density lipoprotein. But my good cholesterol HDL is always high because I work out and I do cardio. So I'm like, worry about it. I'm a cardiac nurse, right? There's something called your ratio. It's like your ratio of, is it HDL to total cholesterol? It should be a certain number, and mine is low. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I try to live healthy. I am not obsessed. That's why I'm not vegan, to say I'll never eat a piece of meat or an egg because I worry about the chicken being, you know, people being cruel to the chicken. I do eat eggs now, so yes, happy birthday, Miss Deborah Allen. Hello, HBS. But yeah, those are the kind of things I'm planning on doing videos about. And it's my series called Educate, Educate Yourself, because you don't want to come here. And that's why we're here, right? That we figure things out so you can figure it out yourself. I met my friend at a restaurant and she had a driver. And she said the driver showed her where to get her hair done, where to get her nail done, showed her around to show her this thing I'm telling you about. Let me tell you, people are making money off of us here being here expat. Yep. And you have expats starting to run businesses here. So it's not just Charlotte Van Horn who owns the relocation tours. Today I saw there is somebody from Atlanta that is opening a place like an event. place where you can have weddings and other things. There is a gentleman here who owns a restaurant, and he has a big room on the side where they do a lot of expat gathering. They play cards. I think on Sundays now they have what do they call them, brunch, where people can get all their um, chicken and waffles and grits and all that kind of stuff. So, and then there's another guy from Atlanta that opened a hair product, braids. You hear about braids now, braids, and they even do hair. They cut your hair. Women who have really short hair can go get. So the expat being here, that's generating more businesses. Yep. I have business ideas, but man, I'm too old. I'm tired. I want to do digital stuff. I don't want anything where I have to hire people because I've done that and I know how crazy it is. And there's a girl here who is Panamanian, but she lived in Brooklyn in New York for the longest time, and she returned a few years back with her family. And she's like, do not hire locals at an expat because the law is not on your side as a foreigner. So be careful. You went on the metro from Don Bosco to Albrook. You went to Taboga Island, yes. Cologne Beach, yeah. Wow, it sounds like you did a lot. That's wonderful. Now I want to do a Cologne day, but I want to go experience the food. I'm a foodie. I'm into. But I said I have to kind of fast for 2 days, go to Cologne and fast again. They don't count calories, and I don't understand vegan and healthy. No, no, no. Fry, 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 fry. Oh my gosh. Yes. They have those things called empanadas, but theirs are like this big. There's a place where they sell these little mini empanadas, and you can have them with chicken, beef, um, fish, and it's everybody knows. You go in there, you buy them by the dozen. I know last time I was there, I think I had six. I mean, you can eat them like sitting in the car, and by the time you look, and they're gone. So you go there for the day. Whew. Yep, there's a lot of food to experiment here, and of course, Panama City is a foodie town. You find every cuisine that you want: Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Italian. African and Caribbean, of course, because Panama is heavy Caribbean influence. Now, when you say Don Bosco, are you talking about? I'm not sure when you say Don Bosco, what you any Indian food? Yes, definitely, lots of Indian restaurants here. And every neighborhood, Panama has 28 different neighborhoods. Panama City is one province. And then you have the district, and then you have the what we call corregimientos, which are in neighborhoods. Panama City has 26. So when you say Bella Vista, um, Costa del Este, you say San Francisco, we have 26 total. But I know Don Bosco is one of them. So that's why I was trying to say, Hola, Greta, my friend. Oh, I miss you, girl. So I don't know which Don Bosco you're referring to. You're referring to the neighborhood. I know there is a metro stop there, so I'm not sure. Yes, that's the neighborhood, 10 minutes from the airport. Yes, that Don Bosco. Okay. Lots of Indian food. Um, Panama City has a large Jewish population, okay? So there is a whole neighborhood where they congregate. So I'm sure you find latkes and all kinds of Jewish food there. And of course, Chinese. The Chinese make about 4% of the population, and they came here, help with the canal. So it's very heavy influence. There is a Chinatown here in the city, actually two. So lots of Chinese food. Um, Korean, they do have some Korean cuisine here, but I'm not into. I was looking for kimchi, and I went. and they give me Chinese kimchi. I don't like Chinese kimchi, but kimchi, fermented food, is actually good for you. So I'm always looking for that. And I was able to find tofu at my regular food store. So that was interesting. I'm not a tofu person, but I was making something, I needed it. So you can find it there. But heavy Caribbean, yes, lots of Caribbean food here. There is a community in the city called Rio Abajo, where if you go there, you're going to find lots of Caribbean, Jamaican mostly thing. The other, because the largest Afro-Panamanian community is in Cologne, right? The second largest community is in Bocas del Toro. So it's funny when we have La Etnia Negra, which is black ethnicity. We celebrate that in May, the whole month. So everybody's wearing the African colors, the hair. It's amazing. Party after party, presentation, history, lectures, all kinds of things. But they do have a lot of dance presentation, cultural events, and any event that you go to in Panama, you're gonna see the pollera dancers, with the pretty, very embroidered dresses, long and white, and they have all the gold, and then they have the hair thing. There's a whole history because it came from Spain, right? Because Panama was colonized by Spain, and it's very heavy in Colombia. And Panama and Colombia used to be together until they separated. So they've kept part of that culture. But when you have any event, whether we have political people coming and there's a presentation, you're gonna see people dancing to the pollera. So the ladies are beautiful, opening their skirts, and then they have the guys behind them. You see that in Colombian culture, wearing the hat, right? But you're always going to see a part of the Afro-Panamanian doing their dance that looks different. Their pollera is different because they're descendants of slaves. And their polleras are like patchwork, and they're brighter. They're totally different. And then the dance that they do, and they have the Diablo. You see people wearing these masks over their head, and there's a whole culture there where they equate the colonizers with the devil, and then the kids are dancing with the black face. If you see that, don't get triggered. It doesn't mean the same thing as it means over there. They're celebrating the culture. Panamanians go out of their way to preserve their culture. They're not ashamed of it, and they're not trying to erase it. So we celebrate everybody here. The pollera dance, um, the Congo dancers from Cologne. But then you're gonna find some dancers coming from La Chorera. La Chorera is on the west side of Panama, and they're kind of closer to Colombia in culture. Cumbia is the Colombian dance. They do a lot of that in La Chorera. Then you have dancers coming from Bocas del Toro. You also have the second largest Afro-Panamanian there, but the dances are different. They're more the calypso kind of dance. Isn't that amazing? So from one region, they look different. The dance is different. The dressing is different. And I'm sitting here taking it all in. I just love it. Indian food, yes. Um, oh, I miss you too, Greta. I took my coffee without you. I even got a new coffee pot because I bought the good coffee, Palo Alto. I got another bag yesterday. Liberian culture, that I don't know. If there is, it's not, on the radar. Thai food, yes, they do have Thai, not as much as Vietnamese or Chinese, but they do have a few, right? Um, I think somebody mentioned a couple of restaurants. Yeah, it's not like you would find Italian food and Caribbean. You went to the Caribbean Museum. Oh, you mean the Afro Antiano Museum? Yes. The fish market, Casco Viejo, fruit market. Yeah, you went to San Felipe. Wow, let's talk TV. You had the whole, you did it all. Excellent. New Year's look like in Panama? Party, party, party. Música, loud music, and lots of food, manja. Because when Panamanians get together, they eat. And and it's another thing. I want to probably tell you what they eat around the holidays, what they eat on a day to day. And they have some specialty drinks around the holidays that are very similar to what you would see in Puerto Rico, Jamaica. Yes, Panama is a paella. We call it a paella of cultures. And we just embrace it all, which is what it's kind of refreshing. Rooftop bars, lots and lots and lots of them. But I'm not a rooftop person. I think I went to one. The views were amazing. I have a nice view from where I'm sitting here, so I'm not impressed. And the food was, ugh. I'm kind of bougie about food. You know that, right? Because I don't eat anything, and I don't, I go to restaurant to spend money cooking food that I can cook for myself better, healthier for me. So I don't spend time at the rooftop. That's for the people who are visiting. Go, 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 spend your money. Ah, yes, I do. And this person put on my in my comment yesterday. I was saying thank you, channel members. I think Deborah, and Greta are members. Thank you, ladies. And she's like, oh, these channels, as soon as you join, they want you to be a member. And she went on and on. And, I explained to her, I said, if you are paying, you're supporting a channel with like $4.99 a month, come on, with the free content that you get from me, with the lives, my videos, my cooking and all that, you think that equates to what I'm giving you for free? No, it's like a generous act of supporting a channel. So I said, I don't ever ask anybody for super chat. I see those some channels on the bottom. They're like Patreon account is this. What is it? The other one, PayPal account is this. I never put that there. I would never come here and ask you guys for money. I see other channels do it, but that will not be. The only thing I would ask you to do if you want to be a member, and then I give you extra, like all the videos I do for exercises. If you're a member, you can exercise with me. You want to go to the gym? How much is it going to cost you? Does it cost you $4.99 a month? Okay. So I told her, I said, you are free to unsubscribe if you'd like. I don't think she liked that. When you are on YouTube, you are creating a community. That's all the algorithm and the experts tell you. You just want to connect with your audience, give them what they want. That's why I'm always asking, what is it? Is there anything else that I'm not talking about that you want to know? And you come here, you're asking me one on one. This is like a free session, right? People pay me consultation to answer their questions that I'm answering for you right now. Dumboko, Wasco area, grocery store nearby. There are grocery stores everywhere you go. You just have to find out. When you get there, just in your Google Maps saying, you need to know the name of the grocery stores. In this area, you're going to have El Rey Supermercado. You're going to have Reba Smith. You're going to have Super 99. You're going to have Extra. But if you go to the area where Don Bosco is towards the northern part of the city, you're probably going to look for El Fuerte. That's another store that sells food. Lots of Super 99, lots of extras. So you just need to know which neighborhood and what's available. That's what I said. One of the first things that you do is find out where those are. But when you first get to Panama, I tell you, take a few days to relax. Find the mini super, get some fresh fruit, get your water, and just relax. You can order Uber Eats, until you can figure out what you want to do. And then venture out, go get some food, and then take your time. Just give yourself time to adjust, let your body relax because you're going to need to rest, sis. You're coming from a high stress area and you're coming here to decompress, and your body needs more than a day. You don't have to be in a rush to do anything. You'll get that. You'll get that. Be kind to yourself. But where I am, I take a metro. I mean, the subway. Well, I would say the subway, it seems like it's down there. I said the metro. I walk 2 blocks or 3 blocks to the metro, and then I walk another 2 blocks to go to my favorite food store. They have others. You know how it is when you have one food store, you know where everything is, right? You can go on autopilot, woo, woo, woo. But then you find the same store in another neighborhood and the whole layout is different. And I get so frustrated. I spend more time finding where this. So I like my own. They have one over here. I'm like, I don't like this one. I'm going back to my own. So I'm a creature of habit. But Don Bosco is in an area recently there had been some concern about crime in that area. So that would not be an area I would recommend an expat to find apartment in. Yes, you can find things cheaper. But then again, as an older woman, you have to ask yourself what is most important to you? Safety or just something that is cheap, cheap, cheap? I would never counsel you on that score to say, well, you want an apartment for $700? There's a girl in town, she's been showing people different apartments that are very low. And I look at all of them and I'm like, I wouldn't want to live there. I want to be in a building with 24-hour security. I don't want to worry about people coming and knocking on my door. I don't want to worry about anybody being allowed in the building in my neighborhood. That's me. Okay? Now, a lot of people are doing what we call co-living. You know, you find somebody who is your friend, you guys can live together and share the expenses. But security should be important to you as an older woman. Accessibility to healthcare, your hospital should be important to you. So it's not all about cost. Don't just look at the money. So that's why when somebody said, oh, we are living here on less than $2,000 a month, yeah, you can. But where are you living and are you safe? I went to a part of the country at the foot of the mountain. Oh my God, I fell in love. And I'm like, oh, I'm moving here. And then when I got home, I'm like, okay, Maggie, calm down. That's why you don't do things, you don't make decisions based on emotion. You have to come down, and then the practical size of me takes over. It's like, okay, let's look at it. You're going to be living in this area where the houses are like miles apart. Do you want to be in the middle of the jungle by yourself? If the water goes out, the electricity goes out, people know that you have this single expat living in that house by yourself. Are you going to feel safe? I wouldn't. Plus, I don't want critters. People say, oh, you can put things on outside the periphery of your house to keep the critters out. And then the homes here in Panama are flat on the ground. There is no elevation. So when it rains, a lot of these homes get flooded. So I go around. I told you, I spent 3 weeks going around the country, and I'm like, but why would you put the house flat? Why don't you raise it? I don't know. Swell worldwide. Greta, we're not there yet. Maybe one day. No, we're not there yet. Selling SWRA to impact. Oh my goodness, Greta, where you did you see that? She's putting her thinking cap on. You're so funny. But I think at some point, because you know they have community of women all over the place. There is a lady called Jewel. She is in Ecuador. She's got a community there. They have community in Mexico. They have community in what's that place where people are going in Europe? Um, Portugal. You have community everywhere. They may not be called SWA, right? But yeah, critters. Mm-mm. This lady got bit by a scorpion in her shower. Mm-mm. Even though they said they're not poisonous, I don't want that. I saw a little lizard on my next, my table, and I hit it hard. And somebody said, "You killed a baby lizard," and I'm like, "Yeah, you stay out here." And I've had my door open all day. Chances are a lizard or something had gotten in, very small. And I say, if I see a baby, the mommy and daddy are not far away. When I first moved to Florida, my God, I used to freak out when I saw a lizard in the shower, and then I got used to them. I just don't want them to end up in my bed or anything like that. No. And now in Panama, yesterday they were showing a snake that got into a house in Cologne. On the stove, there was like a little hole there. It got in, and then somebody came and trying to fish it out. I mean, that thing was this big, a snake in the house. They're showing more crocodile in the lakes here. There was another picture of a mountain lions in the middle of the night. Some camera caught it. No bueno. In some communities, I went to Chitre, which is in the middle of the state of the country, and then there was a couple there. And I'm like, "Well, have you seen any wild animal?" He said, "Yeah, we've seen a couple of cheetahs, mountain lion." I mean, he was just looking at me dead. And I'm like, "What?" No, 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 no. That's what I'm saying in the city, okay? And I'm high, so they can't climb in here. Mm-mm. And this lady said to me, "Oh, I'm on the 38th floor." She said, "No, you need to consider a lower level. A lot of people are afraid of height." And I'm like, "What are you afraid of? You are in a building, it is strong and secure." And then she's like, "Well, didn't you see in Thailand they had a fire and people up there?" I can't live my life in fear. I don't have gas in my building. The whole building is electric. A fire can start at any moment. I can't live my life in fear. I take precautions and then leave the rest up to God, right? No critters for me. Mm-mm. Yes. Yeah, the kids love it here. Now, long term, would they love it? I don't know. I think Panama would be hard for young professionals or kids in high school and stuff, but if they become part of an international school, then they build their own network. But I see Panama really being a good place for professionals who are here for like on assignment from an international company. They have groups like Internations and they hang out, they have language clubs and they play. Yeah. But like my daughter who just turned 30, I was like, it would be hard for her. So I think older people and retirees, we do a lot better here. Of of course, I could not counsel you on international school because that is not my audience. My audience are the single older women. So I'm telling them about healthcare, walkability, apartment, food, and all that kind of stuff. And our presentation this coming week is going to be on wellness, mental health and wellness, because even though you retired here, sis, the mental thing is still here, especially as we see what's happening at home. The anxiety and the feeling of uncertainty. How do you deal with it? I can only do one few at a time. Now, mice is not something I hear them talk about here. Uh, I saw one roach the other day. I was indoors and I saw it scurrying around on the patio, and I ran to the kitchen to get the spray. By the time I got back, it was gone. we have some bird because you know I'm high. I see some birds flying, and I'm like, one of these days, if I have my windows open, what am I flying here? I think about that once in a while. And one of the ladies who she lives down lower than I, and she posted a picture of one of the big birds. I don't know if it's a hawk, just perching itself on her balustrade, right? So that's probably the only thing I see. A little mini lizard, and that's it. And that's the way I want it. Any other question, guys? We've already been here an hour and 15 minutes. Last time I was here for 2 hours. We don't want to do that. So yes, I'm gonna have two videos a week. The first on Mondays is gonna be educate, something to educate you. In my mind, I'm thinking the new expat, the newly arrived. And I'm gonna also do a video about how to create community when you first get here because I had to do that on my own. And that's when SWRA, became a thing. And now we close to 50 sisters in our sisterhood. And every day I get new people saying they want to join, they want to join. So, because we're trying to say, when you become part of our community, we're going to be such a close knit community that if anything happens to you, we got you, sis. We got you, sis. Because people like Deborah coming here, 78, you want to have community when things happen because it's not if, it's when, right? That doesn't mean we're going to take over your whole care. Now, that's not what we're promising you. But we're saying that you can call someone's going to come check on you, take you to the doctor, just assist you with basic things, okay? All right, let's see. Doctors. I'm still working on my referral resource book so that you say I need. Like I had a lady who was visiting. She's like, "Do you have an ortho doctor you can recommend?" Well, I got names from people who recommended them. I haven't needed them, thank God. The Panama Clinic here, you can get your well women exams done, your mammogram and all the things. We have a cancer center in there, so if you have a history of cancer and you want follow-ups, we have that. They have an orthopedic group, so you have different specialties, and then you have your regular doctors who know where the specialists are because they're very well connected. So we have the public, and then maybe talking about for the newcomers, even though you should have done that homework before you land here, but I'll go ahead and do another one on healthcare, how to access. People want to find out if they're the dentist, where do you get your eyes checked? How do you get glasses? And I see some sisters starting to get the hearing difficulties because you're talking to them and they're getting close and listening. And usually that's a sign that your hearing is going down. Finding out where you can find hearing aids. Or if you want to go home and take care of that, you could do that. Like I said, vegan. Where do you go eat for vegan food? And here you can have anything delivered. People want to know about Amazon, and that's another thing you may want to have set up before you get here. I haven't shopped Amazon since I've been here, and I've been almost 3 years. Did not order one thing. When I went home in February, I had ordered a few things to be delivered to my aunt's house, but here I have not had anything. People have used Temu. I don't know what that is. I've never used them, but I understand they have an app and you can get things for cheap. And they have two Chinese warehouses here because you get things cheap. You can find clothing and shoes under cheap here, so don't bring a bunch of stuff in your suitcases. You don't need it. And we don't dress up like that here. It's casual. So don't spend money on clothing. You need nice, comfortable shoes. I wear sneakers almost every day. I tried to get your book on Amazon. No, it's not on. It's on KDP. Oh, Deborah. Okay. Well, if you send me your an email, I'll show you because if you go on my YouTube channel, I do have a link where you can pay for it, and then I send you the link to download. What else would somebody who just got here want to know? Oh, I'm going to do one about worship. Some people want to know about churches, right? So, like, there is a gospel gathering here. A couple, they do it, but it's at a restaurant. So, I don't know if it's really a gospel where they sing and speak on the word. I don't know. I've never been because on Saturday morning I teach, I can't go anywhere. There is a group in the Coronado area. They call it, I think they call it Upper Room, where they get together. You know, it's like a house Bible study group, right? I know this lady asked me, well, can I find a church where I can worship like over there? Now, this is the word you should not use, like at home. It's not going to be like that. Okay, there is an international church here that people have gone to, and they're very aware of the expat community wanting to worship, so they do worship in Spanish, and then they have English on the screen. So when they're singing, doing the preaching, you can see they have the translation. We have a couple of ladies who are Catholic, and they have found their church. There's a Methodist. I want her to take me with her, but I can't go on a Sunday morning because I do the live. But I went to a Catholic church like on Saturday night, around close to this time, they do their service on a Saturday night. I remember when I was at home, they started doing that. And it's in Spanish, but it was the same thing, the same going back and forth, repeating with the priest. And when they did the communion, it was the same thing. But I know there is one Catholic church in Casco Viejo that has services in English. I want to say it's at 10 o'clock on Sunday. So just to compile that for someone to know that you have those things available, because, you know, spirituality is a big thing. But I don't go to church regularly here. I go inside the churches for events. And Panama is very Catholic. So if you speak Spanish and you want to go to church, you're going to have choices. It's just the expat. That's an opportunity for somebody to create something here. But, you know, me and churches, there's a little bit of distrust here with organized religion. So I wouldn't be going. God and I, we're good. I don't need to be going anywhere. So Deborah, yeah, please send me your email. You can send it to maggilazar@gmail.com or tell me about SWRA@gmail.com. I have 2 emails. Let's see what else. We had a presentation about cremation services and burial and all that. That's something, if you get here, you want to get that situated. You want to get your legal affairs in order, your if you want to set up a trust. You don't have assets here unless you're buying, so you don't even need to do that because it's more complicated and it had cost involved. Yesterday, I watched a video about a young woman who was very well known here. She was a raw vegan and she was digital nomad. Well, she said she's going back home because the job that she had kind of dried up, and it's like, if you don't have income coming in, you can't stay here, sis. Mm-mm. No, you want to get the book? Yes. Let me put my email in the chat. You guys send me an email. This is one email. And then the other one is tell me about SWRA at gmail.com. Okay? If you just send me a request, I will send you the link. I have a Stripe link, and that Stripe link is on the YouTube channel. It's going to say the Calendly, you know, what people use to book a relocation call with me. And then right next to it, they'll have the link to the Stripe account. Once you pay through Stripe, then I send you the link. I want to try to come to Scottsdale, Panama next year. Good for you. If you could do 3, that would be best. Because if you're going to be looking at apartment and going around, you need about 3 weeks. Do you have time to tell me about my book? Is just a relocation first step. Now, for the person HBS who want to come to Scout Panama, you probably would benefit from that book because it talks about you want to relocate. Why do you want to relocate? What are your must-have? Those are the work you need to do ahead of time because Panama is not for everybody, right? Some people do better in Ecuador. Some people like Colombia. Some people like Mexico. Some people love the Caribbean, right? So I put you through a self-assessment checklist, right? So you just say yes, 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 up, yeah, move forward. And then if you decide on Panama, I think and I have also another list where you say your must have. Let's say you have Panama. People say, I'm looking at Panama, Belize. Like my friend, she said Belize, Costa Rica. So she went to Belize. There was something she didn't like. She went to Costa Rica. There was something she didn't like. She came to Panama and it checked more of her boxes. So she did it on Panama. It's important to do that work. And what are you looking for with those places? Presence of it, those three things I talk about: cost of living, how much is rent, food, electric, all these things, transportation. What is healthcare like if you're a woman of a certain age? Places like Panama, uh, Mexico, not Ecuador, Colombia, they have excellent care. So that's important to you. So you might want to look at those. And then the third one could be, what is the expat community like? Will you have someone like Maggie there that you can call and ask a question and say, let's have coffee, I have some questions, right? Do they have expat groups? Do they have gathering? Can I join some Facebook groups? Are they open or are they cliquish? You got to be. I talked about clicks in my last video because this lady said, yeah, I came to Panama and there were clicks. I'm like, yeah, there are clicks everywhere, right? But sometimes you come to a new place, you have such a desire to belong that you almost sell your soul. People treat you a certain way, and you're like, well, but I need to be connected. You have choices, sis. You don't need to be anywhere people make you feel bad. Or they're Audie. I remember going to that very first gathering. I was fresh off the plane and I had joined that Facebook group and I went to that, there was a rooftop thing. And I got to the woman who was in charge. She looked at me up and down like this. You know me? And then it was like my my spirit said, no. Listen, listen to your inner. If it doesn't feel right, don't worry about it. Move on to the next, sis. Okay? Yeah, yeah. Right. But you did the scouting though. You came and you saw and you felt and you experienced. That's different, right? Now, what might benefit you when you come back is the resource guide to say, I need a driver, I need a housekeeper, I need somebody who can clean my air conditioners because chances are you're going to be responsible for them, for cleaning them when you come here. That's why when you get your lease, make sure you have your attorney review it. Make sure it's translated into English, that you know what you're responsible for. A lot of people come here and then they found out later, oh, he said if the AC goes out, I'm supposed to fix it. Why do you want that responsibility? So you need to make sure, tell me exactly what I'm responsible for so you in the know. What happens if? A lot of people have lost their deposit because they did not fulfill their responsibility. And there's so many of us coming here. Remember, you may have some landlord who are trying to get that from you. This lady came here, excuse me, she got into an apartment. She didn't see the apartment. She booked it sight unseen. Don't do it. Come here for 3 weeks. When you're moving, stay in the Airbnb, look for an apartment, go. You have to look. I'm going to have the checklist for you to check. It's like, check, check, check. Smell. Open the closet. Smell. Get your flashlight. Look. Don't play around. If there is mold, you're going to be responsible for it. So this woman came, she had booked, she had trusted her realtor to book the apartment for her before she got here. And when she got, she saw the mold. I am close to the water. I have to, the other day I put it in the chat for my ladies, and I'm like, we've had so much rain, just be on top of that mold. Because if you start breathing that stuff, you're gonna get sick. So she found mold very first night. So she's like, I can't stay here. So she called the landlord, and she's like, I found mold in there, because there was no aeration. That thing probably was closed. So he said, okay, you can go to that hotel. We're going to get it fixed. I don't know how long it took her to get it fixed. So he called her and said, okay, it's clean now. You can go back. So she said when she got back, it still wasn't clean enough because she had a health condition. So she called him and she said, well, you know what? You said it's clean. It's not. I want out. I want my money. She didn't get either one. She didn't get her monthly. She didn't get her deposit. Don't play around. Because one of the things, another sister did a video talking about the things that you don't budget for. Because every time you book an appointment, you're going to have to pay the first month and the deposit. If it's $1,200, you have to come up with $2,400 on the spot. So if you move 2 or 3 times, do the math. That's why you have to do the work up front. Don't be signing leases with people who are not owners and they're not in a reputable building and they have these little apartments that are $700. Okay, who's the owner and who are you? Be careful. That's why you have to ask for referral. Ask people like me saying, how do you like this building? It was funny. This girl said, well, my realtor showed me apartment in this and that building. Are you familiar with them? And I'm like, yeah. But if you go somewhere else that nobody has been, it's in this area that says it's on Balboa, but it's like in the back road. I'm like, be careful. Bye, Deborah. Yep, you got to be sure. All right, ladies, hour and a half. We need to stop. Are there any other questions? Por favor. Oh, my book. So my book, yeah, it takes you through the first steps of assessing, first of all, whether you would do well as an expat. Not everybody can live away from their country, away from their family, away from everything that's familiar. You're going to run back at the first sign of a problem. So it's not for everybody, okay? If you've been in the service, you've relocated a few times, you'll be okay. You have to be a self-starter. You have to be able to be on by yourself and be away from family, right? You look at your financial situation. Can you afford it? Do you have the pension or the Social Security? Even though now I'm telling people don't depend 100% on Social Security. It's not safe. All right. So all of us now are trying to do some little, side hustle to bring some money so that you can supplement if they decide to snip Social Security, which they probably will. All right. And then we talked to you about Panama. You get history of Panama, how it is, the political system, culture, food, whatever. We talk about the healthcare, right? And we talk about the visa process and how long it takes and how do you get it done. And then planning your relocation. How do you do that? Decluttering, becoming a minimalist, talking to your family about leaving because that could be contentious. Getting you ready mentally. I remember decluttering my house. That was very emotional. So you have to be prepared for that. Leaving everything that you know. If you say, I'm going to be digital nomad, I'm going to be there 6 months, that's different from cleaning out your house, selling your house, and packing and leaving. That's drastic. Be careful. If you have grandkids, will you be okay being away from them? Some people find out way later that I can't be away from my grandbabies. Pets. Just be, true to yourself when you're doing the assessment. Don't say, oh, I think I will, I think I can, I think I can. It's too big of a decision, okay? Tomorrow, well, tomorrow I was gonna make a butternut squash soup. I went to that store and I could not find any butternut squash. So tomorrow I am making what I call a curry. It's gonna have some calabaza squash in it because we need to have orange. This is fall. And I found some okra that I'm gonna incorporate in that. So it's gonna be a surprise, but it's gonna be a curry. It's gonna be good. Good. I didn't know you were here, my friend. You're quite welcome. And so we're gonna make a curry. It's gonna be a fall curry. And the following week, Gertha, I think I'm gonna be making soup jumu. Even though it's not January, but for my Panamanian friends, I'm gonna be making it. Amy, how are you? I'm doing good, thank you. Yes, have a good weekend, everybody. They're having some kind of Caribbean event at Soho Mall here, and they started at 3. I was like, oh, I wanted to go there. I'm like, oops, I can't. I got to go live. So, but if I did go out, I was gonna see if I can find the butternut squash. I think the only place I could find it would be at Reba Smith, but I don't feel like going out again. I've been, doing classes and I'm doing this. My mouth is dry. I'm just gonna chill. Kelly, you just arrived here or in Panama? Greta always has her plate ready. I was gonna do a side of quinoa, but I've been cooking quinoa. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some. I haven't done couscous. People wanted grain, so I did quinoa. I need to do some a rice dish. I'm gonna do maybe a risotto. Gonna be doing couscous or barley. I love barley. Yes, Gertha. It's my best soup too. Oh, you late. Okay, I'm sorry, Kelly. Yeah, we were just taking your questions. That's all. Nothing, I was telling them that I'm going to be making 2 videos a week. On Monday, I'm doing a video I'm calling Educate Yourself. It's a series for new expats. When you land here, what are the things you need to know? And then on Thursday, it's going to be just about expat life in general. Like my last video was about 10 things that I wish I had known before I moved. And then I think, we have things, surprises, things, what would you have done differently? People have asked me that question. What would you have done differently? I would have retired earlier if I could. I couldn't have because 62 was the earliest I could do it. Yeah. Sweet potatoes. Oh, good. Oh, no, it was rotten. In the States? Oh. Did I tell you guys I bought a mango the other day and on my counter I saw this little worm going and I'm like, what is that? I don't have critters in my house. I'm pretty clean, it's just me. And then I picked it up with a napkin and put it in the trash. The next day I saw another one. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I have a basket on my counter where I put my fruit because I don't put my fruits in the fridge. And then I picked up the mango. The mango had a hole. And when I squeezed it, a little bit of the liquid come out. I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I took a knife and I peeled the mango and it was full of the worms inside the mango. I was freaking out. So I put it in a plastic bag, wrapped it a few times, and proceeded to open the door and took it to the dumpster. Our little, not dumpster, we have a trash receptacle and they take care of it. I was like, what in the world is that? So I'm staying away from mangoes, okay? And the SWRA ladies were like, well, that's why we talk about a deworming, something they're going to be doing in January where they clean you out of a parasite cleanse, they call it. Okay. I know my grandmama did that to us when we were little. We used to have that during the summer holidays, during school holidays. I know. It was disgusting. I was freaking out. I looked at it and I'm like, isn't that what we call, what do we call those? when you see those worms coming out of like wounds and stuff. I'm like, ooh. But they say in the tropics in the Caribbean, sometimes the fruits have that in them. I'm like, and that's how you ingest it, and then they grow inside of you. Yeah. Oh wow. Gardeners are complaining that they are not getting any yield. Oh, so they're spraying them. Oil on leaves. Huh. Well, they still spray them here. Maybe they're not genetically modified, but you still have to wash your veggies really, really good, and it's good to have a brush so you can soak them in like baking soda and vinegar, and then take the brush like your apple, your mangoes, if they're whole, and then brush them to get some of the grime off. And then, just God's gonna have to protect us because there's a lot they put in our food. We know that. All right, guys. Anything else? I'm sorry, Kelly, you can be, we've been at it an hour and 40 minutes. Everyday gym trails. Oh, wow. Oh, chemtrails. Yeah. But there are things that they spray on our food over there that have been banned in Europe for years and they're still using them. Yeah. And I tell people before I eat certain things, I'll just cut up some leaves and just boil them and be done with it. You're welcome, Deborah. Yes, yes, yes. Free advice, free information on on Saturday. There's a lady here though that does that. I think she does two of them a week. Jackie. Jackie gives out a lot of free information, and she's a wealth of knowledge. I am no near to knowing as much as her, but she doesn't focus on single older women. Where this is my audience, so anything that has to do with us, from health and wellness, nutrition, mental health. That's what I talk about. And getting acclimated and creating and building community. Yep. Yep. All right, ladies, you have a beautiful evening. God loves you. Thank you, madam. But it's short for me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, you could see the replay though, if you want to go back and look. Have a good weekend, Amy. Good to see you. Deborah, Greta, thank you for being here. Gertha, HBS. See you in the morning. Yes, I have. I have chickpeas. I have green peas. I have edamame. I have scotch bonnet. I have squash. I have some peppers. It's gonna be good. All healthy stuff. Yeah, why not? And then I have okra. I got to find something to do with the okra and incorporate in my curry. All right. Bye, guys. God bless. Yummy. Yeah.